Hi everyone, my name is Ksenia. I've been studying chemistry for over 15 years. On this channel I talk about the most important chemical topics briefly and in simple words. In this video I will explain what ionic bond is and why it forms. Basically, ionic bond is electrostatic interaction between positively and negatively charged ions. I've already talked about how ions are formed in another video, so check it out if you don't know. In simple terms, we have a positive particle attracted to negative one, creating an ionic bond between them. For example, when sodium reacts with chlorine, sodium chloride is formed, and in this compound there is an ionic bond between sodium ion and chlorine ion. So let's take a closer look. Imagine we have a sodium atom and chlorine atom. Sodium has one valence electron that can participate in chemical reactions, while chlorine has 7 valence electrons, and sodium gives its single valence electron to a chlorine atom. What happens then? Both atoms have an imbalance in positive and negative charges. Sodium changes from a neutral particle to an ion with a charge of +1, because now it has one fewer electron, and a chlorine becomes an ion with a charge of -1, because it now has one extra electron. So now we have two particles with a charge of +1 and -1, and they attract each other. This is the ionic bond. To understand why chlorine atom only needs one electron and sodium also gives away one electron, watch the video about the octet rule. I explained that part there. Going back to the example with the chlorine and sodium. It's actually not a single chlorine atom that reacts, but a chlorine molecule. Chlorine only exists as a molecule, and the reaction looks like this. Two sodium atoms react with one chlorine molecule. Each sodium atom gives one electron to the chlorine atoms, breaking the bond between them and forming two sodium chlorides. And here how it looks in a chemical equation. Ionic bond usually form between elements with significantly different electronegativities. So if you see a compound with a metal and non-metal, there is an ionic bond in that compound. Here is a small question for you before we move on the second example. The correct answer is magnesium oxide. This compound is formed by the ion of the metal magnesium and ion of the non-metal oxygen. Oxygen, like a chlorine, doesn't exist as a single atom. It's always a molecule of two oxygen atoms. It looks like this. Each oxygen atom in this molecule has 4 electrons that do not participate in chemical bond, but these bonding electrons are shared, and we can say that each atom has an octet of electrons. So when an oxygen atom forms new bond, it wants to keep these 8 electrons, and each oxygen atom needs 2 electrons to have a full electron shell. Now let's look at magnesium atom. It has 2 valence electrons, which is exactly what oxygen needs. But since there are 2 oxygen atoms in one molecule, we need a second magnesium atom. Magnesium gives 2 electrons to oxygen, and now we have a magnesium ion with a charge of +2, because we took away 2 negatively charged electrons from it, and oxygen has a charge of -2, because it now has 2 more electrons than before. And this way we've got a magnesium oxide. There is an ionic bond between magnesium and oxygen ions. And here how it looks in a chemical reaction. That's it for today. In the next video I will talk about other types of chemical bonding, such as the one that binds up two chlorine atoms in one molecule. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and see you next time!